What's up, my friend? How are you today? I hope you're having an incredible moment as you are watching this video. I'm so happy that you're here. If you haven't already, go ahead and click that little bell, subscribe to the channel. I really do my very best to get a video up here at least once a week. And if you want to know when that happens, you gotta follow the YouTube way, right? And click that little bell to subscribe. So my name is Michelle, if you do not know who I am, and man, is on my heart. I was thinking about this morning, what did I want to come on here and speak with you about? I'm sure there'll be a time, I'm sure there will be videos in the future where I have notes and I am speaking and teaching more from like a curriculum perspective and sharing with you tangible how-tos. But the place that I'm at in my life right now, the space that I'm in my life right now, and the place that I'm inside of my business is really about heart connection from mine to yours. And so much of that, especially for a recovering perfectionist, so much of that is it's from in the moment authenticity. It's from being present in my body and connecting with your heart. And so I was actually reviewing over my notes. I don't know how well you can see, right? Those are tissues, but my desk right there, I have just a full notebook of ideas and conversations and topics. And I was thinking about this morning how absolutely, positively terrified I used to be seen as anything other than perfect. And when I say terrified, I was really scared. And I projected a lot of that fear for most of the time. I projected that fear for the majority of my life onto other people, right? I pretended that I was afraid of your judgments. I pretended that I was afraid of how you would respond to me if I wasn't flawless, if I wasn't completely, without defect, if I presented myself in the most polished, pretty, perfect way. What I've realized through much of my personal development journey and through a lot of my growth is that fear of judgment was self-projected. And what I mean by that is they were my fears. They were my judgments that I put off on you because blame is easier than personal responsibility. Blame is easier than personal responsibility. Now, it doesn't actually solve any problems. It doesn't give us any power or empowerment or access to any solutions. So it doesn't give us any power. It doesn't give us any empowerment to access solutions, but it is easier. It's definitely more comfortable to deflect, right? To be like, not me, that's you, than it is to take the ownership. And I don't know who said this in this moment, but I've read so many different places over, really, I think a lot over the course of this year. Your trauma, your pain, it's not your fault, but your healing is your responsibility. And so in taking that ownership, in being empowered now in this choice, owning, hey, these feelings, this situation, this space that I'm in, this is a me thing, gives me the power to make a change moving forward. But I was terrified. I remember in the end of 2013 is the very first time I put my hand up for coaching support. And if you know me at all, if you've been following me for any length of time, I use that phrase a lot, put my hand up, because I had a moment where, I mean, we're talking, this was 2013, so 5 years ago. I spent most of my life, a good 30 years, believing I could just work harder, believing that if I just tried harder, if I buckled down, if I got my head on straight, if I just did more, was more, like looked better, was skinnier, was smarter, was more talented, if I could just achieve more, I would have it figured out. I mean, I was a hella hard worker. Like, when I say hard worker, I mean hard worker. Like, if there was a way to figure it out, I was gonna do it. I mean, I embodied the essence of fierce determination, of persistence. Like, I was like a dog with a bone, which is good, except when it's not. And it wasn't always good. And what happened is I got to this place, and comment below if you can relate to this, but I felt like I was doing everything right. Everything. Nothing was working. I was doing everything I was supposed to be doing and still coming up short. I was following all of the rules and I still wasn't winning. And I was really discouraged. And I had a moment where I remember this so clearly. So I was laying on the floor, like toward the end, like at the foot of my bed, I was laying on the floor and I had my laptop open. And almost a year prior, someone had shared a video, someone in my direct sales company had shared a video about this life coach that he had been working with, who he accredited so much of his success to this one guy. And I had looked him up online the year earlier, and it was too much, too soon. He was too real for me. I couldn't handle it, and I slammed my computer shut. But in this moment, in September of 2013, I Googled that guy, and I read his story. And I remember laying on the floor. And I remember just crying because he was presenting himself in this way that I became very, very acutely aware that there was this part. It was almost, you know what it is? It's almost as if he awoke this part of me that had been buried alive, that was underground, that was suffocating, and yet this man's words like were breath to my soul. And I was laying there, and I genuinely raised my right hand, and I was like, okay, you know what? I need help. I can't do this alone. And I really want to be successful. And I know, and I don't know if you can relate to this, and maybe send me a message below, or, you know, like this video, share it if you think it would benefit somebody else. But have you ever been in that space where you know you are on the precipice of something phenomenal, and you just, like, it's just out of reach? Like, you're so close, you could taste it, and you can't get there. And that's where I was. And I emailed this guy, and I mean, it was a much longer email than this, but the gist of it was, can you help me? I need help. And I raised my hand, and and he called on me. And my life is fundamentally, literally in every way possible, cellularly, tangibly, intangibly, not the same. Not the same at all. He asked me on a webinar, I don't know, maybe a few weeks or a month ago, he asked me if he could have picked me up in 2013, dropped me into now. As I'm recording this, it's December 2018. If he could have picked me up and dropped me here and then took me back, how much? Well, he asked me two questions. He said, how much would you have paid to get where you are now? And then he asked me how fast I would have run to get here to this moment. Truthfully, my friends, I would have written him a blank check. And in many ways, I have. In many ways, I have. The hardest thing about what I do professionally as a coach is to get people to believe in what is really possible, in what really can happen, what really can change, what can fundamentally shift in you. And I get it. At that time, in 2013, we were not able to pay our light bill. So I get wanting to pay down debt. I get financial struggles. Everybody's different, and I've had my own. I've taken soup from work to eat for dinner 5 days out of the week. I barely had money to buy groceries. I've struggled. I spent a lot of money on things I didn't need for many years early on, trying to fill the hole inside of me. I shoved a lot of tangible things, successes, achievements, codependent relationships, drugs, alcohol, trying to fill a void that was only going to be filled by me. And I remember early on, he would ask me if I would write testimonies for him. And I said, absolutely not. And I share that because I thought early on that it was weak. I knew that I needed help, and yet I was ashamed because there was still a part of me that believed I had to be able to figure it out. Why couldn't I figure it out? What was wrong with me? Why was I not able to do this on my own? I get it, I need help, but no one else can know this because then they'll know that I'm not perfect. And all of this, if you don't listen to anything else in this video, all of that it's a lie. It's BS. You are not designed as a human to go through this journey on your own. You need support. Stop pretending that you're supposed to have it all figured out, that you're supposed to have it all handled. The perfection that you are convinced is going to make people love you is separating them from you. It is your imperfection where all of your beauty lies. It's in your messiness, it's in your silliness, it's in your loudness, it's in your too muchness, it's in your snorting when you laugh, it's in your farting in public, it's in your snot coming out of your nose as you're crying, it's in your yelling, it's in your flaws, it's in your scars. That's what makes you beautiful. For a lot of years, I hid anything that I deemed to be ugly. I hid it in the closet. I mean, I put it away and I stood in front of it with the door closed, like, move along. There's no, it's like nothing to, it's good, I'm good, everything's great. And if that's where you are, I get it and I honor it because it's part of your journey. But when you're ready, I would be, I want to say I would be honored. I don't even know if that's right. I know in my heart that my purpose on this planet is to set your soul free, to help you take off the mask of who you are pretending to be and unleash the full embodiment of your authentic self on this world. If there is anything that I can do to support you in that, please comment below, send me an email. My email address is going to be in like the description below, but it's coachmichellemoore@gmail.com. You can find me on Instagram and on Facebook at Coach Michelle Moore. Send me a message. When you're ready and you put your hand up, my friend, I will call on you. Stay tuned. There will be more coming. Oh, I love you so much, my friend. Thank you for being here. And I look forward to connecting with you more soon. Bye now.
What's up, y'all? How are you? I'm totally in my downstairs bathroom. That's a shower. I wanted to hop on here really quickly and honestly just tell you a funny story as it pertains to the video that you just watched. So I spent a significant part of this day really working hard to edit that video and make the transitions super smooth and make sure that it looked right and that it looked good and that it was flawless and perfect. And I about bust out, fell over laughing when I recognized how ridiculous that is, considering that the video is all around my old story of being afraid to be seen unless I was perfect. And here's what I want you to know. This human experience, this beautiful human journey, those fears and those beliefs, while they do transform and they do transition, they actually don't fully go away. What does happen is that the speed with which you bounce back gets faster. Your recovery time is quicker. You have tribe and you have support that help you reframe it at a significantly increased speed than what happened before. But the reality is that those fears, those concerns, that not enough, it's going to be there. The evolution in your relationship to it is what's going to change. And I share that with you because I want you to know if you're in the process of changing that relationship, you're not doing it wrong. You're so perfectly imperfect, as the shirt says, and I'm so happy that you're here. Thank you for holding space for me to share my authentic truth, and I look forward to speaking with you more soon. Bye now.